10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio. Watch out!
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician Chris Aceto on this June 24th, 2019 evening. And Chris, we're back again, just like we always are, for over 10 years now running.
It's funny. You are just gonna, you know what? I just told my 13-year-old today. I said, Sunday, got to do the radio show. He says, "What have you been doing that 10 years?" I said, "Yep." Isn't that funny? He just said that 3 hours ago.
Yeah, and he was how old is the kid?
He's 13 and 5'11". So when we started the show, he was probably 3.
He was my son's age. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Where does the time go? God, I can't even remember.
Everyone keeps warning me. They're like, before you know it, your kids that are really young now, they're going to be grown. I'm telling you, and you know what? I think they're right.
Oh, Dave, listen, I know. I remember this kid who came to my house, knocked on my door about something out of the blue. And I came down, and I hadn't seen this kid in like 20-something years. And I had in my hands a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, my kids, or 3 and 2. And he's like, "Oh, they're so cute, and, they're adorable." And I said, "Yeah, it's great. It's a blast." And he said, I get I think he had 5 kids, and they were like 20, 18, 17, 16, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like normal. It's not like me having kids when I'm like 50. And he said, "Make sure you enjoy it because time's going to go fast." And I thought I was like this person, like, "Oh, hey, I'm aware of that fact because I'm not 20, I'm 40. And here I am." It's like, where did that time go? Where was the where'd time go? Because I can't remember like the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, the last 5 years has been like a blur.
It's crazy.
Because you remember all the fun little crazy stuff you do when they're really little. I find it just insane how fast the first 3.5 years have gone. I can't believe my son's going to be 4 in 6 months. So it's wacky. It just really means that we're getting older at a much faster rate. That's all it means. That's all it means. Last, when we first started the show, we were in our 40s, I know.
and just turned 40. Now we're, in our 50s, and in 10 years we'll. Can you believe if we're still doing this show in 10 years when we're 60?
Listen, I'm morphing into. We will, because I'm morphing into a hybrid of my father and Bob Gruskin.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine. For every week I say, "Yeah, screw bodybuilders, idiots." I'll probably be like, "Yeah, this kid, he's 17. I think he's going to be the Olympia in 4 years, Dave." And this will be like 10 years from now.
Yeah. It's.
I spoke to Jay last week. Jay will be. Let's see. Jay just told me Jay texted me yesterday.
It's going to be 45, right?
No, 46.
Oh wow, he's even got up there. Yeah.
And I said, I still think if he was 33, and it was just the other day he was in my kitchen at 17.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Think of that, 27, 30. 30 years ago, he was in my kitchen.
He's like a kid of yours, really, that's grown up,
Yeah.
if you think about it. I mean, because you knew him since he's a teenager.
Yep. He's the mogul, and he will laugh. This will get to him, because someone will say, I listened to the show, and Chris said he used to come up and visit me, and he had a job like caddying with for golf courses,
like carrying the gym bags.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the gym bags for the golf clubs. Yeah.
He loved it because he was making good.
Oh, you get great tips there. Yeah.
But he parlayed it into something else on the golf course. Like he had like three income streams. He could caddy, and I think he took care of the grounds, and you know what I mean. Typical Jay.
He was a hard worker, yeah. And I'm sure he made great contacts with all the golfers there that have tons of money, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, that's his whole. That's part of his whole.
I almost did that. I got hooked in. My mother was working for this lawyer, and they got me a job in the summer. Also, they were going to get me caddying, and I went in a couple of days, but I was, you know what, I was too young. I wasn't big enough to carry the bags. You know, it was tough. You know, I was really young. I really needed to wait another year or two to get in there. And I walked around with a couple of the caddies, helped them carry the bags, and you know, it was all these wealthy, you know, people that were at this rich country club and stuff like that. I hated stuff like that. You know, I don't know if I could do stuff like that. I wasn't like lazy, but it was like I couldn't wait to get out of there. I was like, this sucks.
Well, would they treat you like they were beneath you, or?
Nah, it was just I don't like anything where I have to work my way up from the bottom. Like, you know how like you hear about these stories, but this guy was sweeping the floor and now he's like the CEO of the company.
You want to be like, well, how do I just buy this golf course from day one?
Right.
15 years old.
Yeah, I want to. I want to be hiring the fucking caddies. I don't want to be being a caddy. I'd rather go, you know, concentrate on like school or whatever I was doing at the time. You know, I wasn't into the whole working my way up the ladder type of thing.
No. Even
though we do that anyway, you know, with bodybuilding and whatever else I do. It's just. I don't know. It was you know what it is? I always was the youngest guy. I always try to do things as the youngest guy. Like when I was playing soccer on the varsity team, I was the youngest guy. You know, I went there because I was really good. So I said, well, I'm not going to play on the team of the junior varsity team with the kids my age. I'm going to go play with my dad said, go play with the old guys, the better team.
Yeah, you're a leader.
Well, yeah, but when you start younger, you know, people get jealous because you're younger than everyone else there, and they're like, well, we had to work our way up to this thing. You know, this kid's, you know, so you had to like, you know, take your licks, so to speak.
Yeah.
It was like hazing, you know, you got to go through. When I was I was in 7th grade. You know, again, junior high school was 7th through 9th when I went to school, and the 9th grade team was the varsity soccer team. So I had just I went from elementary school into like junior high school. 7th, I was there for 2 days, and I was at tryouts for the varsity soccer team. They're like, you're in the wrong room. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's a soccer team, right? Yeah, this is varsity soccer team. You're 7th grade. You go to the junior varsity. I'm like, I don't want to play junior varsity. And then the coach liked, I guess, my tenacity, and I was pretty tough, you know, even though I was younger than everyone else. And he gave me a chance, and I did well. I started on the team, but it was tough. Those kids gave me a rough time. Whoa, did they give me a rough time?
Because you were young. They wanted, right?
Right. Because there was a lot of jealousy. Even the next year, when I was in 8th grade, and the 9th graders, you know, they were still, because I was really good then, and they were very jealous, you know. And so they would, you know, they at the game I was their teammate, but you know, in practice I was there, like they tortured me.
Yeah, of course.
But I was better than them, and I was tougher than them on the field. I was just, you know what, I was scared. I wasn't like a fighter. I probably should have just kicked a few guys' asses, you know, which I probably could have, and then that would have shut them up. But you know, I was too afraid to get in trouble. You know, I was one of those kids. I was a good kid, so I just took it out on them. I punished them on the soccer field, and that pissed them off even more. So, but you know what? Sometimes you got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions to achieve greatness, right? Isn't that what they say?
Well, that's. I mean, all success comes from being in an uncomfortable position. Sure. If you're comfortable, then nothing changes.
Right. But I never had a long-term plan like that. I had a short-term plan, you know. And I think guys like Jay they were always thinking like 10 years ahead. He knew that if he had that job caddying, that it was going to help him business-wise down the road. Like someone must have said, you got to go there. That's where the rich people are. That's you got to connect with those people, because those people will have good connections for you, and that, you know, that'll help you down the road. He's like a very wise soul. You know what I mean? I was like instinctual, raw, emotional, you know, type of person, just responding to the environmental stimuli that were in front of me at the moment. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no.
Jay was calculating. Yeah. That's why he was so successful. You know?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Jay is a very long-term planner, and there's nothing calculating. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
calculating in terms of planning. I mean, the guy has life insurance for like $9 a month.
And he's still doing
because
it.
I'll never forget when I was asking about, because we've always discussed everything, and when like his life insurance policy is insane, and seriously, he pays like 28 or 38. Ask him dollars a month.
Because he's been doing it since he's like young, right?
Yeah, he got it when he was like 19 or something. He said, "Well, I figured
no
I'd need it."
19-year-old would ever buy life
No,
insurance.
and which is why they sold it to him so cheap.
Right. Well, it was a good risk then.
Yeah, it was a great risk. So it's been like locked in for all those years. So he's got,
Someone told him to do that. You know that.
Oh yeah, of course. Because I wonder who.
The funny thing is, he doesn't even have any kids to leave it to. Although he has a lot of nieces and nephews, right?
Yeah. Well, he'll probably leave it to like a charity or something. The Jay Cutler Foundation.
Jay Cutler Foundation, I was just going to say.
I'm surprised he hasn't started one.
A scholarship fund, yeah.
No, because people could always give him the money to like
Right,
do something with.
Tax write-off, yeah.
Well, when you have a foundation, you got to have credibility, and that's what he has.
Yeah, he was always very politically correct too about what he said and how he went about it. Once again, I was always just raw, like whatever was in my mind.
Yeah. He's about preserving relationships. You're just
right.
like.
I just said it like it is. Yeah, I'm like, this is the way it is. You got to hear it. This is what the reality is. I don't care what the ramifications are, but this is what's going on. And Jay didn't let it bother. Jay wouldn't say things unless he really felt that it was in his best interest to say it. And I think that's. I admire both camps. I admire his camp because I understand he's seeing the bigger picture, and I also admire people who do what I do, the Guy Sistaninos and the Jose's, and just people who say, "Look, this is fucking who I am." People expect to hear the truth from me.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And sometimes sometimes people who are brutally honest, cut their nose to spite the face a little bit too. But it is what it is. But I think people respect the honesty of it too.
Yeah, I agree.
But no one like me or Jose is ever going to be elected president. Jay may be a senator one day from Nevada because he's politically correct. Do you think he'd ever run for office? Do you think he'd be interested in that?
No.
Why not? He doesn't want to have kids, he said.
No, because it would
didn't hurt Trump's ability to make money.
No, I just think that it would. He likes the lifestyle that he lives, and running for anything puts you under the microscope, and he doesn't need that.
He doesn't do anything wrong, though.
I know, but still, there's a difference between not doing anything. I'm not saying he ever has or does anything wrong.
They'll say, "Did you take steroids?" I'll be like, "Yeah, of course he did." Yeah, he doesn't care. No one cares about that stuff.
I bet you. No. Or Dave would say, Jay would say, Arnold didn't have any heart attacks till after he ran for governor.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I think Jay would be a good politician.
Yeah, no, he'd be good.
He's charismatic. He's good. I've heard him give speeches. He's very charismatic. He can turn it on when he has to.
Yeah.
He's got the money to do it. He's got the right political allies.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. I'm making a prediction here. I don't think he's I think he'd wait till he's in his 50s, but I think he's amassing he's filling the coffers right now.
Yeah. How many coffers can you fill?
Can never have too much money. Arnold, right? Said that.
Is that what he said?
I don't know if he said that, but I think he believes that. No, Arnold had a lot of money, and that helps when you try to run for office and you have cash.
Yeah, of course.
Other people will give you more cash because they think you got cash. You get people to believe in you. Hey, did you see they did the best hot dog of 2019? Can you guess who won?
Is this like a brand at the grocery store, or is it like a restaurant? Or
it's both. Both.
Nathan's.
Yes, Nathan's famous skinless beef franks.
You know what? They are very good.
Unanimous. They went. They went like all the judges. They went with straight first place votes.
Isn't that funny?
Nathan's famous.
They have great crinkle fries too at the. Yeah. By the way.
They do. I had a friend who worked at Nathan's. We used to go in there. He used to give us free food when we were kids. Nathan's famous combined all the best qualities into a winning hot dog. It tasted flavorful, seasoned but not salty, and had a gentle snap with every bite. Nathan's famous had plenty of time to perfect the recipe. The company's been serving up his signature franks for well over a century. Wow. Who knew that? Runner-up was, you know who runner-up was?
Let's see. There would have to be. Let's see. Wouldn't be Oscar Mayer.
No. Hebrew National.
Oh, Hebrew National for sure. Easy. I should have got that one. I'm dead serious. I'm dead.
My dad loved Hebrew National.
Huh?
My
That's
dad
a Bob
loved
Kreskin
Hebrew National.
favorite.
Yeah. Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
They're Frank's pack a garlic powder and paprika flavoring system.
Yeah.
So that's their secret to success. Did you see about the story?
Oscar Mayer because it's the only thing that came to my mind.
Oscar Mayer. That's because that commercial. Dun, dun, right? Remember the...
Yeah.
What was
You want to be an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Oh, you want to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. Dun, 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 dun.
And then they have the Oscar Mayer, Oscar whatever. They have the mobile, the car that
They have that little kid with the red hair, right?
They have the car that looks like a hot dog.
I love those jingles. I always wish I could write jingles, you know?
You know who wrote the most amount of jingles for commercials? Name the two folks who wrote the most amount of jingles.
I don't know.
Barry Manilow and Bette Midler.
Really? They wrote jingles?
Yes.
Who would have known? I think it's ingenious. If you could get something that can fucking play in someone's head over and over and over again.
Barry Manilow did Hold the Pickles, Hold the Lettuce, special orders.
Really? From Burger King?
Yeah, is that
hold
what
the pickles, hold the lettuce. Yeah, that's great. I love it. I wonder what Bette Midler wrote.
I don't know, but she had a whole bunch.
I knew a kid in high school who was doing that. He was making good money. I didn't know any. I think there was one famous one, but I don't know any other ones. Yeah, I also like people who write theme songs, like the Hans. What was the guy's name who writes all the theme songs for? I want to say Hans Winter. It might be.
Two theme songs, what movies?
Like the movies, yeah, these epic theme songs, you know, like Batman, and Superman. I mean, it's great. You could write a theme song that people can play in their head over and over again.
No. The trailers.
No, the theme song to the
like
movies.
when they...
Dun, 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 dun. I mean, think about that. Superman, everyone knows that. Play it anywhere in the world, they'll know Superman. Say Superman, right? I mean, it's great. What about Rocky, you know? I mean, Conti, I think, wrote that. Just unbelievable. I love it. So before we get to the bodybuilding, did you see that they found the Ford Fusions in Canada they've been finding in the spare tires methamphetamines. They found a nearly 400 pounds of meth hidden in the side of the spare tires. How crazy is that? Oh my god, I love it. 4.5 million worth.
Yeah.
It's 4.5 million Canadian, nearly 3.54 million US dollars. Isn't there? That's a huge discrepancy between the US. That's why it's hard to sell anything to Canada nowadays. The fucking dollar sucks there.
Yeah, well, no, the dollars.
Their dollar sucks. Yeah. So it costs them so much more to buy shit.
Well, you can take American dollars and go to Montreal or Toronto and buy some real estate at a 25% discount.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
I know. The Ford Fusions had come in by train from Ford's Hermosillo stamping and assembly in Mexico. After looking at the logs, police checked other Fusions that had arrived by train around the same time. More cars at various dealers were found to contain meth too. In total, 180 kilos or nearly 400 pounds of meth was discovered, courtesy of a Mexican drug cartel active in the area around the plant. That's fucking great. A few years back, police in the Midwest discovered Ford Fusions packed with thousands of pounds of marijuana in their spare tires. Those came by train from Mexico as well.
Well, you don't need it now. You don't even need to bring them in. The Ford Fusions, you can just go down to your local cannabis store. And
it's true. That's very true.
Crazy how that trend changed quick.
Yeah, nothing like putting the Mexican cartels out of business by just legalizing it. People have been saying to do that for fucking 25 years already.
Yeah, I think George Carlin was the first one who called for.
Yeah, but think about it. If they should just make the cocaine illegal next and heroin, and then we won't have to worry about the Middle East or anything like that either. Did you know most of the heroin comes from the Middle East?
Comes from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
Right.
90% comes from Afghanistan.
That's why they had all that money to fucking bomb us, because we're buying all the heroin from.
They never. Oh, wait, I don't think Afghanistan produced a bomb.
Well, when I say bomb, I mean finance all the terrorism, like the Osama bin Laden's and all that stuff. People think it's the oil money. It's the heroin money. It's the heroin money. We're a country that likes to buy a lot of fucking drugs from people.
Yeah, well, we like to get high.
Yeah, we buy all our steroids from China, right? That's where all the steroids are coming from.
Yeah, well, I think the prices just went up on them because of the tariffs. Trump's tariffs have making like the Chinese GH a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, no one pays any taxes on those.
Oh, is that how it works? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think they sneak those in. They sneak them into John Romano in Mexico. So my sister was in town this week, and she was visiting, hung out, came down to see the kids. Aunt Nicole is buying gifts left and right for Logan and Aria. She's being the spoiling aunt. It's good to see her.
I used to go out and buy all the little, like, every single toy I'd see, I'd buy a toy until my wife said, don't, like, stuffed animals.
Oh, really?
I'd be, like, at the gas station pumping gas going, I'd see, like, a stuffed animal for $3.99 or $8.99, and I'd buy it.
Oh, I buy everything, too, yeah.
Until my wife said, no more stuffed animals. And I said, what? And then I realized, like, the house was covered with, like,
Right. Then you have to start giving them away to people, yeah.
Yeah. I said, look what I got, little, it's like a little elephant with a heart on it.
Yeah. The woman down the block, she brought over all this huge thing of cars. I'm like, why are you bringing these over? She's like, oh, my son, it took him 10 years to accumulate these. He's got like every Matchbox or whatever they call in cars. I'm like, this is great, but now you just fucking created a fucking litter zone that I'll probably trip on one of these cars in the middle of the night when I'm walking around.
Re-blast out the knee.
Yeah. Oh, I got a big shout out. I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram. There's this guy, David Golsh, from he owns a company called ProForce Floors. We kind of became friends. He contacted me when he knew I was down here. He's like, look, I clean floors. I had him come over. He did a few floors for me, and him and his dad did some work, wrapped some poles for me out by my pool. And I had this like air vent on my my RxMuscle Species Nutrition snake building, and water was getting in there. And so we had like this duct tape on it. You probably saw it. It was so stupid looking. He's like, let me take care. I'll seal it off. I said, okay, great. So he must have, on Friday, he texted me. He's like, oh, I already came and left. I know you were busy. He's like, did you check it out? What I did? I said, no, I didn't check it out. I said, what'd you do? You sealed it? He goes, go take a look at it. I said, all right, I'll text you back. So
you loved it.
Oh, I loved it. Did you see it? He got a plaque. He got an RxMuscle Truth in Bodybuilding Cape Coral, Florida plaque. And I don't know how he perfectly had it fitted there.
You got a twofer. You got the vent blocked so no rain could get in, plus a sign.
Yeah, the sign looks great. And he sealed it off, and it's great. It was so fun. No, I said, I said to him, I don't think anyone's ever done anything that nice for me. I said, to be honest with you, it was a really thoughtful type of thing. He didn't have to do that. He just had to put something over there and seal it. He actually took the time to take the logo and, send it into some place, actually measure it exactly so that it fit perfectly. And I mean, he customized the whole thing. It was great. I haven't got the bill for it yet, but
he didn't come up with a cookie cutter sign for you.
It was not a cookie cutter sign. No, it was very original. It may have been the most original gift I ever got from anyone, to be honest with you.
No, I think the Blackman doll is number one.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, I must thank those. I must thank.
I'm just waiting for you to get the Blackman. You never got the Lamborghini for the Blackman doll.
No.
Not the Lamborghini. What's Blackman drive? The Hummer.
The Hummer, the H1 Hummer. And I can just go. Aaron has one. So.
Oh, Aaron's got the Hummer, and he's got the Olympia trophy or whatever.
Yeah, the Sando. And the Lambo. I drove in his Lamborghini. I don't know if he still has it, but he did have it. What else is going on? Oh, so we had a show this weekend. Let's talk about the show. This is a bodybuilding podcast after a while. I start to sometimes believe it's more of a podcast about life.
Oh, I thought we were on the snake podcast. Let me switch hats for a minute.
Well, I did. You know, what I started doing? I started doing a daily snake video Monday through Friday, almost like Muscle in the morning. Only I do it.
Snakes in the morning.
I figure, I go into my snake room every morning anyway. Why not just film it? I'll just get my iPhone out and start filming. People love it. Just me going through the snakes. I'm like, well, I'll just film what I'm doing. It's a pain in the ass sometimes, but if you get yourself into a rhythm of doing it, it's not too bad. It's just it's just another thing I add to my little repertoire of like all the little fucking things I got to do every single day. It's like a non-stop. If you saw all the different like little, put the contact lenses in, shave, shower, deodorant, little cologne.
The shave, shower, deodorant, and contact lenses. You're not one up than anyone else.
No, I'm about to add to it, and I take my blood pressure medication. I take my shot of injectable glutathione for my immune system. I get from TitanMedicalCenter.com. I go and I feed the tortoise. He's got to get a handful of lettuce. I have my big turtles. They get pellets and shrimp. Then I have these new little turtles that have to be taken out of the tank and put in a little container where I give them bloodworms to eat. And then I have to go back and I clean the litter box for the cat. I clean all the pee-pee pads and poo-poo pads from the dog, put those down. Then I got to go upstairs. Logan's usually up by now. My wife's getting him ready. And I get the whole repertoire. It doesn't stop. I got to drive Logan to school. I got to check the steaks. Then I got to check Muscle in the morning, make sure it's up. I got a never end. I got a repertoire, and the funny thing is, I'm really got it down pretty pat right now. And then it's going to all change at the end of August when my wife has the new baby, which we still don't have a name for, by the way. Feel free, anyone out there, it's going to be a girl. You can submit names to huge285@AOL.com. If we use your name, who knows? Maybe I'll give you a free something or another.
Anything you're leaning towards in terms of names?
No, I'm not even picking any names. I'm letting Amanda decide the name, and then I'll just okay it. She doesn't like anything.
You'll give the state. You'll just stamp it, which means whatever she picks, you get it.
Yes, right, exactly. She's like, you picked Aria. I said, okay, fine, whatever. You picked the name. I said, I'm fine with that. I said, as long as we both agree, I want you to be happy. I said, I'm not. There's no name out there that I'm so like attached to that I absolutely have to have. I wanted something unique, but we don't want it something where people are going to make fun of the kid, these stars name their kids like Apple and stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. But I also don't want it John or Dave or, Jennifer, there's too common.
Bland. You want something between, something unique, but not too unique where they're going to get picked on.
Right. Which is impossible to basically. We're asking for the impossibility.
Well,
I told my wife, she thought that, Aria would be tough because people would maybe call her Aria by accident. I said, that's what makes it so great. Who cares? So when she's a little younger, maybe she'll have a few problems here. I said, when she gets older, people say, oh, that's a cool name,
Yeah.
So people like the name. Thank God we get a lot of compliments on it. If we didn't, she'd be like, it's his fault, Yeah. I would be the fall guy for it, I'd be the fall guy. But yeah, it's like I said, you have guys that have unique names to your kids. I like it.
Yeah, very unique.
I don't think she would go there. I think she would think that's too unique.
I still get people say to me, Aceto, Chris Aceto. I just get yeah, that's good. That's good. Just get me out of here. I just want to check out.
Right. That's funny. Very funny.
I want to. I hear someone is using your protein powder and they're not making gains, so they would like a 50% discount.
I had the first person in the history of my protein tell me that they didn't agree with their stomach or something like that.
It didn't agree with they want to double their money back?
No, I said they didn't even ask for the money back. I said I got to be honest with you. I said this protein's been, my company's been around 10 years. I said I think the protein's been around for 8 years. I don't think anyone's ever told me that my protein. That's the one thing I never had anyone complain about.
You must have the most peculiar stomach on earth.
He's like, and then he went on to tell me he does have the most peculiar stomach. I'm like, well, all right. Well, at least I don't feel bad.
So what's when he goes out to eat? Do you tell people the waiter, didn't agree with my stomach?
But I love hearing that because I really never heard anyone give me a complaint like that. Never. I said, no one's ever complained
want
about the
his money
flavor
back?
or that it sits bad in their stomach. And he's like, so when I say that, it's like when people see, I'm sure you get this all the time when you're doing diets for people and they send you an update and they ask you some question and you're like, I don't know the answer to the question. And then you have to go back and look at like every email that they've sent you. And then you realize you're not screwing up. They're screwing up. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're not doing this. You're supposed to be doing this, this, and this. Oh, well, yeah. Well, they in other words, they're asking you like a question based on something that's not really supposed to be happening. And if sometimes you can think you're losing your mind,
Yeah.
Thank God for sent emails. I go back and I put their email back and I read and I'm like, and I get pissed off because I'm wasting my time doing this. And then I'm like, I didn't tell you to do that. You're not supposed to be taking, 6,000 milligrams of 6,000 micrograms of Cytomel. I said, you're only supposed to be taking 60. Oh, well, yeah.
You see the tenant who wanted the discount from me this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. You got the craziest tenants of all time.
The guy wanted the guy wanted a rent reduction by $250 because he's been there a year, and he says the toilet doesn't work. So I said back to him, well, I sent you the text. He said the toilet doesn't work and the shower doesn't work, and I said, how do you clean your body and take a dump?
I thought that was a brilliant response. To which did he respond to that?
No, he responded like, well, what he got into what the shower.
Let me just say, he was basically saying to Chris that he wants a reduction because his toilet doesn't work and his shower doesn't work, and he hasn't used them in over a year. So Chris is like, well, how the fuck do you take a shower? How do you clean yourself and fucking and go to the bathroom if it doesn't work? So I was waiting to hear what the response to that was.
He clarified and said sometimes you have to flush it twice. And when you turn the shower off, the water drips. That was...
Well, so then he obviously uses the shower, obviously, right?
I told him to call code enforcement.
Yeah. Fucking nutcase.
I said, if it's that bad, just call... I think you need to, call code and have the landlord written... Oh, that's me. Have me written up.
I don't know how you even deal with these people.
But I thought of you because that's when I thought of would someone say, geez, Dave, I bought you protein and I've been using it for a year and I want my money back because I haven't gained a pound. Are you lifting weights? Well, not really.
Yeah. I will say that 99.999% of people who write me about my products are all very positive, and most people are thrilled with them, and that makes me feel good because you know what? It's like it validates what I'm doing. It's not that I need the validation, but sometimes it's just nice to hear that people actually appreciate what you're doing out there.
Yeah.
It's like when we go to the Olympia and people come up to us and they say they love the show. I mean, doesn't that just say, you know what? Oh, all this time we spend doing this show every week. It actually, people are actually garnishing enjoyment out of this, and they're watching it or listening to it rather. If they're doing the radio show, they're listening to it while they're doing the cardio, and they're getting, they might be in a bad mood, and then they hear us talking about something that they can relate to, and they just start laughing. And so that's to me worth spending being up at 1 a.m. recording the show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the weirdest recently when someone said, I listened to the show, and I'm like, you do? I'm like, I guess it'd be like, so if I said, I help bodybuilders prep for shows, maybe someone would say, look at me and say, you do? You know what I mean? So
right.
Maybe I guess it works both ways. In other words, you don't look like you have any muscle. And I was looking at this person who listens to the show, and I'm thinking, this guy doesn't even look like he's ever, exercised ever, let alone lifted weights.
The guy who cleans my pools now, he's from the Bronx. He lives right by Grushkin, actually, believe it. He did, I should say. He's like, someone I was telling someone about you, and they're like, oh, you cleaned Dave Palumbo. He's a famous bodybuilder, and they're like, he's like, I thought your name sounded familiar. He's like, yeah, I cleaned his pool. I said, well, don't fuck it up now, because I have a radio show. I'll be talking about it. I said, you better be doing a good job on my pool. It's funny how it's such a small world.
It's very small.
I have a lot of guys that deliver stuff to the house, and they always they're afraid to they ask me because they think I'm the Dave. They must know because they must see it on the package that they deliver, right? Dave Palumbo on the delivery thing. They're like, "Are you?" I'm like, "Dave Palumbo." Yeah. They're like, "Oh yeah." Follow bodybuilding. Yeah. Oh yeah. I see. Listen to RxMuscle. I'm like, oh, good. That's awesome. So I always, as soon as someone, I'm such a sucker. As soon as anyone like validates me, I totally give them a tub of protein or I give them a gym bag. I'm like, oh, take this, man,
take
guys.
A
Yeah.
to go with you.
I take 200 packets of samples of the Isolise. I give them, take home.
Have a turtle.
Save this. Pass it around. And some of these guys got good physiques too. I'm like, man, this guy could probably win the men's physique Olympia guy. He's like, I said, you compete? He goes, no. He goes, I've been working out 15 years. Yeah, I don't think I'm good enough. I'm like, good enough. You can win the Olympia probably.
Yeah.
all he does is lift the packages all day long. It's great. So then you get the guys who deliver. They've been delivering for 30 years, and they got these rigged up harnesses that they wear all day long, to support their lower back.
Oh yeah.
These ingenious contraptions. I'm like, I said, that thing that you made for yourself, you could make $1 gazillion, if you sell it to the powerlifters, the powerlifting world. I said, this thing is ingenious. How'd you make it? Oh, I took 4 leather belts. I fucking sewed it together.
Yeah.
I said, you got to go to Pakistan and see if they can duplicate this thing for you. I said, this is ingenious. What a novel idea.
Whatever happened to the belt company out of Minnesota? It's like a Hutskins, Automix. Vallejo. Ding! Dave Palumbo comes up with it.
I remember.
People don't even know what we're talking about. Vallejo belt.
I remember Lee Labrada used to be the guy, right, in all the commercials.
Yeah, I went out to the guy who started it, his house.
You did?
Yes, somehow I was in Minnesota, and oh my gosh, I don't even know how. And he invited me out to his house, and he had this. You would have loved it, Dave. His house was on the lake, and instead of a garage, the lake went right under his house. He had boats.
Oh wow, like a boathouse. Yeah.
Yes, you got it. So you go downstairs, and like a person would get in their garage, it looked just like a garage. You get into the boats.
That's awesome. Boathouse, love it. Except
And,
it's cold.
Like,
it's cold in
boats.
Minnesota.
And I was thinking belts and boats. Belts and boats. How do they go together? They go together because when you sell a lot of belts, you get to buy boats.
The funny thing is that he was, I think, the first guy to really come up with that, like, Velcro, right?
Yeah.
Belt idea.
That was the thing.
And the first couple sucked, right? They didn't really hold too well. The Velcro.
No, they didn't hold well.
They got it better. They perfected it after a while, though. You know what it was? If you were going to squat 600 pounds, you did not want a Velcro holding your waist together, because those things explode. If you put enough pressure on those things, they blow open, and if that happens while you squat 600 pounds, you're going down and your back's fucking going out.
He branded the belt. He had the unique little locking system, which was Velcro, and then he came up with all the funky little colors.
Oh yeah, no, that he was the first guy to make designer belts basically for people. And don't get for now, if I were to wear one of those belts, they would be super comfortable. They were really comfortable, and they kind of do the job. But if you were lifting a lot of weight, you needed something where you can leather belt. You can kind of cinch it closed and lock it in, and because you don't want that belt opening up. That's like a wrap.
What would NASA say about a pink and green belt?
Huh? These homosexuals, they wear these belts.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say
that. He always used the technical term. He wouldn't use the slang, but he would use the homosexual community. They have created the demand for the pink belt, and I think it is insulting to the bodybuilders who are serious lifters that we have to see these men who think they are women in the gym and they were lifting with these belts, and I am offended, but. I hope to see them get crushed by the weight when the belt opens up.
Oh, boy.
Just go on and on and on. Nasser had an opinion about everything.
Everything. That's why I bring up everything.
I have some great Nasser stories I can't even tell. But,
no, Dave. One time you were bringing me home you were bringing me to the airport from the New York Pro when you lived out in Long Island, and you were in your A1 Prime perfect.
NASA voice.
Perfect. And I didn't know you could do NASA, and I don't know if you remember, but I was crying.
Yeah, no, you weren't. I stayed in Nasser
Crying.
character
The
the
more
whole
that I
trip.
would cry, the better you would like nail the voice.
Yes, Chris, you.
No, you got to get really like lazy, like, and lower the.
Chris, sometimes I have ideas. I like to express them. I am not an idiot. You think I am an idiot because I am from the Middle East, but I am actually from Yugoslavia. Not although I am Egyptian by nationality because they give you better tax breaks there. Oh shit, Nasser. He left us too early. He was a dummy. He was so smart that he was stupid.
Meaning.
Sorry, well, because he didn't take care of himself. He should.
Oh,
the guy
yeah,
should have
yeah.
lived a long life. He should have got
Yeah.
when he should have gotten out, and he should have just started caring about his health rather than worrying about being the biggest guy all the time.
Well, you know what? He would have had. He could have if he was too far ahead of his time because, really, if he was still around, his radio show would be like.
He could have done it himself. He didn't even need a co-host. He could have just talked.
Dave, I was just gonna say he could just call in. I'm here. It's Sunday night. I'm in my 30th year. Nasser Somebody.
Yes, this is Nasser Somebody again from my podcast, and I don't feel that I need to have guests on this thing because they're imbeciles, and I don't want to hear their moronic banter. I don't think anyone else is very interested about them. I will just talk about myself every day, every week for 1 hour, and I will tell stories, and I will give my insights into the bodybuilding community. I will talk about this Kai Green and how he has something mentally wrong with him, and as well as Cedric McMillan, and I will try to explain why they are not champions and they do not have the toughness of mentality to achieve the goals that they set forth. People do not understand. I would have to say that I am the most intelligent Olympia competitor of all time. But of course, they have stolen the Olympia from me in '97 when Backzilla has 4 torn muscles, and they give him the title anyway. The fans know who have won that show, but
No, he would say Nasser would say that the '97 Olympia made Guinness Book of World Records for top 5 heists.
He would be.
Dave,
They know if Nasser wins the title in '97, that Ronnie Coleman does not win in '98, and that will screw up Joe Weider's plans to use Ronnie Coleman as a slave for the next 8 years and exploit him, right?
Definite.
They know that they could not buy me, but they would not be able to deny me if I win '97. I win in '98, '99, 2000 probably, and what would happen then? Ken Wheeler, you would never call him Flex. You always call him.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
You would never call him Flex. That's right. You got
Ken
it.
Wheeler would have to have a heart attack and a nervous breakdown because I would be champion and he could never beat me. Because he has no calves, and of course I have calves. And I know you have been accusing me behind my back, Mr. Palumbo, of putting synthol in my calves, but that is just because you're jealous because you do not have calves. And I always have calves. If you look at my pictures from when he could just talk forever. He doesn't need a guest. He doesn't need a co-host.
Yeah.
A co-host wouldn't even get a word in edgewise. They would just be doing the control board. That's all they'd be working. The co-host. He'd be great. He'd be great to get on like an Iron Rage, he could do a Rage every day. He'd have a gazillion subscribers. People would say, "What the fuck is this guy going to say next?" He missed his calling, man. You're right. He would have been a great YouTuber.
Yeah, you know how when people call into like radio shows, he would do the opposite. He would call people.
Yeah. No, he wouldn't want to talk to anyone. You just have to give him a topic. I will let the callers give me the topic. All right. Hey, Nasser, this is Steve Blackman. I have a question about the 97 Olympia. I thought you should have won too. We at MD we did a cover. Steve, you still owe me $50,000 from that photo shoot that I did with Per Banal, and you took advantage of me. I really have nothing to say to you, and until my lawyers will be calling. Oh, Nasser, just forget. I haven't signed the check yet. Don't worry about it. listen, Steve, I know you are Jewish and you probably hate me because I am Arab, and I understand that, but I do not want to talk to you because you are demeaning me right now, and can you please hang up the phone? Otherwise I will be forced to terminate this call.
Dave, you want to go back before maybe we'll get on the bodybuilding topic tonight. Listen, Nasser and Mike Francois were friends for a while, right?
Oh, really? That's a weird combination.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
Probably Nasser wanted to get the secrets out of Mike.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, because Nasser doesn't friends with anyone. He was basically just leveraging.
And then he discarded him from there.
Yeah.
It's true. Then he discarded him from there. But when Mike won the 1995
Arnold,
Mike did not want to shoot with Blackman.
I wonder why. Yeah.
Everywhere me and Mike went I was with Mike I stayed at his house like a week before, and then he was going to do the San Jose show a week later. Dave, it's bizarre. It was like a cartoon. Everywhere I would go, like someone would say, "Are you?" It'd be like a waitress at a restaurant. I'm barely exaggerating. Are you Chris Aceto, Mike Francois? Yeah. Someone's on the phone for you. Would you see if the Mike will shoot Tuesday?
What? How would they find you guys? How would Blackman find you guys?
I don't know, Dave. I don't know. Everywhere we went, from Columbus, Ohio.
Because there were no cell phones back then, right? There were no cell phones.
No, there were no. There were like a few people had cell phones. I had a little phone that cost me a fortune every month, a little flip phone, and would be in a gym, and someone would say, "Hey, Mike, someone just called from this 518 number."
516, yeah.
516, and they would say, if you come into the gym, please call them. They're trying to set up a photo shoot. We go to the hotel, like the host hotel. Mike, Francois, you checking in we stayed at the Fairmont.
Yeah.
The Fairmont Hotel in San Jose. Like the little girl, like 19 years old behind the counter. Oh, Mr. Francois, congratulations on your win last week. Mike be like, what was this girl talking about? Call this 518, 516?
Yeah.
The person there is trying to set up a photo shoot.
Steve Blackman. Mike, MD's number one. We really want to shoot you. Per Banal, he'll showcase you. I'll put you on the cover. I'm going to make you a star.
Steve, I just won the Arnold Classic.
Mike ended up shooting with him the day after with Per, just to I think he liked Per.
Per Banal was a great photographer. It was worth doing.
He couldn't take being hounded. It was like, okay, I'll give in.
But you know what? It was worth it because he probably got great pictures from it.
Yeah, he did.
It was worth shooting with Per. Blackman did a good job with the photos. So I got to tell you, he even told me, he goes, these guys were the hardest guys to nail down and get them. Even with the guys who were under contract with him, he would actually have to put them in the taxi at their hotel to make sure they made it to the photo shoot in the morning. He wouldn't sleep the whole night. He would go out to dinner, to the restaurant. He'd be drinking wine, and then he'd be like, I'm not going to sleep all night. I said, why wouldn't you sleep? He's like, I got to make sure that Dexter gets into the cab. No, Dexter doesn't. If you notice, he doesn't. There's no photo shoots with Dexter in any other magazines. I said, why is that? He doesn't go to the photo shoots. I got to make sure he gets into the cab. He said he'd be up all night. He'd have bags down to his chin, Blackman, from not sleeping, and he'd have his pad. He'd be like, all right, Dexter, make sure you get in the cab. You want me to meet you outside?
He thought about having, remember Oscar Mayer had the hot dog mobile. He wanted to have the ripped fuel mobile for a while.
He should have. It was a good idea. He could have picked up guys for photo shoots with the ripped fuel mobile.
Shaped like the bottle.
I'm surprised he didn't try to turn the Hummer into the ripped fuel mobile. You know what? He had the rip fuel, but they got major lawsuits over that. You know that when the ephedra. No,
I didn't know.
They put him out of business. The ephedra lawsuits. Yeah, that's killed Twin Lab.
What? I didn't know that. Who sued them?
There was a class action suit against people who were using ephedra. Because someone said they got hurt, and it was not technically something that was supposed to be used, and so they sued the biggest companies, and Twin Lab was one of the biggest companies at the day that was putting ephedra into their products. They weren't going to go with the little guys. They wanted to get money, So it was
his
major,
product.
major.
Yeah, he had a tremendous. That was a great product.
Yeah. I'm sure they made a ridiculous amount of money selling the product, but I'm sure the insurance. Blackman didn't pay, but I'm sure the insurance companies
the
paid a
insurance
fortune.
company settled. I'm sure they settled. Yeah.
But who knows?
Insurance
Maybe
takes care
a
of
lot of times these insurance companies won't insure weird, controversial products like that. So sometimes
there's Lloyd's of London. You can always go to that's why I insure my toilets that don't flush properly in apartments with Lloyd's.
I hear Jay has insured his hair, so if he ever goes bald, he gets paid $10 million.
In 06, he guaranteed he was going to win the Olympia. He was going to shave that hair.
Yeah. Would he have done it?
Of course he would have.
I don't know. Maybe he would. That would have been fun. He probably still look good with a shaved head.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty trademark, that hair.
Yeah, he does have. I'd kill for that hair, to be honest with you. There's only a couple things. There's only a few people I'm jealous of, like in our industry. Jay's hair is definitely one of them. I'd like to have his hair. Talk about genetics for hair. Steroids don't cause you to lose hair. Genetics cause you to lose hair. Because otherwise, Jay wouldn't have any hair on his head, just like everyone else. If that was the case. It's amazing that he's got that head of hair still, right?
Yeah, it's perfect.
His parents must have good hair too. Some people are just meant to look, a certain way. And that's all there is to it.
Sure, you're absolutely
it's like
right.
Robert Redford had that great head of hair too. So a lot of these movie actors do. Some of them have, fake hair, but a lot of these guys have good heads
He's still got
hair.
the full head of hair. I just saw a
I
picture.
know. And he's got to be like an 80 something, or maybe 90.
Wrinkled to hell.
He has. He should have got. I'm surprised he never got a facelift. Isn't that funny?
But that's what I mean. Like when he's wrinkled to hell, I'm just surprised he never got a facelift.
He did. He doesn't give a shit, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
He was just in that. I thought, he was out of it, but he was just in that movie, The Avengers. The latest one, Endgame. They filmed him in there.
Yeah.
Because he had, they did some kind of time scene where it went back to one of the previous movies that he was in, and he still looks great. He still looks great. I mean, makeup is one thing, but he still looks really good.
Yeah.
He's another guy. That was my fault. Yeah, I say Jay Cutler's head. My father would always say Robert Redford. Looks like Robert Redford. That was in his day. That was the good looking guy.
The hair guru.
All right, let's talk about this IFBB Atlantic Coast show that took place this past weekend. It was a men's classic physique division. Actually, it was an over 35. I didn't realize it's a master show, huh?
No, I think it was. No, it was just they labeled that wrong.
Really? Oh, so it was.
No, it was classic bodybuilding.
Okay, all right. So that was labeled.
Wait a minute, classic. What is it? What do they call it?
Classic physique. Classic physique.
I call it classic bodybuilding. Sorry.
You're like my dad. My dad used to call the paper cups wax. I told you, it's wax cups. He used to say. It was. Yeah. We knew what he was talking about. We knew what you were talking about, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the guy who won. Dan Colbert Anderson. I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him. I'm sure I'll put it out there. If you contact me, we'll get you on the TV show. I always like to showcase new talent.
Yeah,
really good guy.
You know who he is?
He's got a tiny waist.
Yeah, Dave, this is how I know who he is. I prepped someone for a show that he beat, right?
Right.
And I thought, this is just recently when he got his pro card. I thought, in my head, because I didn't tell the person I was helping, okay, it's an impossibility that anyone can beat you. Impossible. It's just not going to happen. This is in my head.
Right.
And the show was getting closer and closer, and I'm like, in my head, this is a slam dunk. Slam dunk.
Whenever that happens, that the person always winds up losing.
Yeah. Well, and then, isn't that funny? I said, wait a minute, stop thinking so positively. Stop thinking negative. And it's true. And so then the guy who I'm helping, or had been helping for a long period of time, sent me a picture of this kid, which is this guy who ended up beating him. And I just knew, I saw his, beat tape, just the flow and the shape. And I was like,
he doesn't have a ton of muscle, and he doesn't have ridiculous conditioning. He's just got that structure that it's like,
yep. And you know what? And Dave, the guy who he beat was in a lot better condition, more muscle. And so when I saw the pictures, I'm like, yeah. In other words, you can easily see, the reality is shape and structure in that class can carry you right to the top. And it did in that pro qualifier, and it did here too.
Yeah. Lee Banks has to settle for second place. Yeah, we haven't seen Lee Banks for a while. I'm glad he's still going.
Yeah, me too. He's a great guy. Lee's a tremendous
He's
guy.
got to be. This guy is like he's like another Dexter. It's funny that they both live in Jacksonville too.
I'm just gonna say they're both from Jacksonville.
The guy's got to be in his late 40s, right?
He has to be. Let's see. I don't think late 40s. I think he's in his early 40s.
All right. Well, he still looks really good.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who's doing 212 and winning shows, and now he's a classic physique guy.
No, he was doing shit. No, he was doing open shows and doing really well.
Yeah.
Top 6 in very deep, hard open shows.
Well, I think he's all natural here, from what I remember.
Right? I believe that for sure.
What a great physique he's got.
Yeah, tremendous physique. He looks like somebody out of the 70s.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I hate people. Don't you hate people with great genetics like this? This guy, it's just that's his God-given abilities. He's got there, and it's great to see. I'm glad he's still going. I really do. I'm very impressed with third place Peter Borecki from Poland.
Yeah, he's got the crazy quads, man. He's got a big V taper too, and he's got a lot of condition. He was in New York. You know what? He didn't place that high in New York, which was a little surprising. I mean, he placed good.
He's like a Munzer. Does he remind you of like an Andreas Munzer? Like with that,
his condition was really
crazy
good.
Conditioning.
Yeah, it was like the same in New York too.
How did he do in New York? I don't remember.
Top something 5, but it's funny because you mentioned Munzer, and his condition in a lot of ways was like tremendous in New York, and I'm wondering, like in New York, if some judges thought like, okay, tremendous condition, it's not a really conditioning class. You know what I mean? Like maybe they got thought he was too hard. I don't know.
He definitely needs more. He definitely needs more muscle in his body. But. He's impressive. I love to see that conditioning. Now, fourth place, Abdullah Al Saif. He didn't you help him turn pro?
Yeah, he won. I helped him, and he won. He actually won. This should be maybe a record or something. I mean, he won the Arnold Amateur, not this year, the year before, the Arnold Amateur bodybuilding and classic bodybuilding in his division, and then he went to the Olympia last year, the one we just recently had, and he won classic bodybuilding, and he won open bodybuilding.
Wow. Why did he do both? Why didn't he just take the pro card?
Well, he got the pro card in. They gave him the pro card at the Olympia, but they didn't give him at the Arnold, even though he won both classes.
Yeah, why is that?
I think he had to win the overall.
Oh, okay. I see. All right.
Which is why Morgan Asti came back last year.
Right.
Under my tutelage and won the overall.
So you worked with him. He got his pro card. And so are you not working with him now? Is that what I'm...
No, but I worked with his... The irony is I worked with his cousin.
Oh, really?
In Saudi, who been trying to get his pro card, and everyone knows in Saudi. He's very well known in Saudi. Who, people like, if this guy could, blah, 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 get in shape, he'd get his pro card, and he won the Tunisian Olympia recently.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So it's all, the genetics are all in the family.
You got the whole Saudi Arabian team wrapped up there. You know what the funny thing is? You look at this guy, he looks like a nothing. He doesn't look like he has a lot of muscle.
No, he doesn't. But under the lights, he's great.
Oh, but he has got a great structure. That's what makes him good. It's the flow and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he's got nice lines, and he's got clean muscle. He's got no loose skin anywhere. He's got a good look.
Yep.
He looks a little flat here today, though. I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Santi Aragon, who just almost won a pro show, has to settle for 5th. That tells you how good this lineup is, because Santi's great.
He just got 3rd in a 212 show.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. He crossed over. I forgot about that.
Yeah. You know what? It's the too many shows. He looked tremendous at both previous shows in Classic and 212.
Yeah.
And then here, just like, you can only keep going on paper.
You think he's just
Only
the
Laverne can pull Laverne. You know how Laverne can do like 9 shows, and he's
but then he
better at
doesn't
every
train the
show.
rest of the year either. So
Yeah, well, he pulls over. Yeah,
that's funny.
but yeah, no, Santi was off the hook at the previous 2 shows, and here he was.
Look at.
I mean, nowhere near
It was
what
a
he was
really
the
tough
last-
lineup. I mean, I have to tell you.
Yeah, it was a great lineup.
You want to another guy we talked about Lee Banks. 6th place was Orlando Maldonado, who also looked good, but 7th place was Vladimir Sizov. Do you remember Vladimir?
Oh yeah. They used to do the trampolines and
He did all the circus act stuff.
Yeah.
He won the heavyweight
USA.
class at the USA that one year. Looked really good. He had a couple injuries, I know. I interviewed him recently, like a couple of years ago, I think, and now he's the classic physique guy. I don't know. He transformed his whole body. I don't know how he did it. It's crazy. He's got to be in his late 40s too. He's been doing this a long time. He's shredded though here. Looks really good. I wish my body looked that good at my late 40s. He does he was helping Oksana Groshina for a little while with her routine.
Oh, that's right.
Remember she was trying to learn how to remember she was doing those rings, like she was, the last routine she did or something like that. She was like doing those like big circus rings, and he was teaching her how to do them because he did them in his act, a circus act. So he's still going. I saw him I think he was in the last show, the last classic physique show. I saw his name and I said, this can't be the same Vladimir Sizov I know. And then I just looked at the pictures of him online and I'm like, yeah, that's him. Holy shit. Pretty impressive. Sarah Villegas wins the women's physique with Valentina Machina second. Both girls look really good. I was looking at the pictures. I don't know if you saw the pictures.
I did.
Impressive, right?
Yeah, super impressive.
It's funny. Women's physique is completely women's bodybuilding now. Wouldn't you say?
I mean, who? Are you surprised?
No, I mean, but it's like not even. They don't even try to pretend it isn't.
We went to Tampa. Can you imagine what the women's physique looked like the first couple years?
I know.
We went to Tampa one year.
competitors. They were
Me and
figure
you.
competitors.
I think, and I was sitting down, and I said, "I didn't know they had bodybuilding here, Dave." And you said, "No, this is physique. They don't. This is physique or something like that, or some show."
Right. I think it
And I
was
thought you
New
were
York.
kidding.
It was
I said,
New
"No,
York
come
Pro.
on, Dave.
It was New York
This
Pro.
is bodybuilding."
New York Pro. Remember that year? The girls were
Yes.
huge.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I told your man, I said, why don't you just change it to women's bodybuilding? Call it women's bodybuilding. Bring the Miss Olympia back. Forget this Miss Women's Physique Olympia. They're not even giving. No one even takes it seriously. It's not even on the main stage. Make it the Miss Olympia. Just combine it. How many women's bodybuilders are there really left anyway? 10 of them? Suck it up. Tell them to drop down a little bit and do women's physique. I mean, just do the one division. Make it Miss Olympia. I mean, isn't that title so great? Like, why would you not want to use the title Miss Olympia?
No, I don't know.
It was Mr. Olympia or Miss Olympia. They get rid of the title. Fucking, you change the division.
The title is like, technically, there's a company that sells like, when things like kind of die off, but there's still some nostalgia stuck to it. Like, I think Sports Illustrated just sold their name to someone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And,
To a big online company or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Miss Olympia should be represented at the Olympia weekend by the women's physique division because they're bodybuilders now. Call it Miss Olympia.
Told you, Dave, when 87, 88, 89, when I worked at Weeder's bodybuilding camp, the number one draw the whole summer, not Lee Haney, not Rich Gaspari, not
Corey
Barry
Everson,
DeMay, it was Corey Everson.
Yeah, I believe it.
By like double.
She had a TV show, for God's sake. Of course it was.
No, before that, she didn't have the TV show
she
at
didn't
that
have
time.
it? She was just Miss Olympia?
She was Miss Olympia, and It's funny. She used to do like 40, 50 sets. She used to volume train.
Oh, she was a volume trainer?
Yeah, she used to volume train, and she used to eat a couple candy bars before she'd actually train. She had the craziest metabolism ever.
Well, she was a track runner and everything like that. She had, yeah.
Yeah, she would eat couple candy bars, and then she'd go do like 40, 50 sets of back.
Wow.
Charles Glass would have loved her. He would have already like pulled out everything off that back.
Yeah, that's funny.
She liked a lot of the angles too.
I got to get her on the TV show. I mean, she, you know what? She actually messaged me after Jeff died. Jeff Everson, who just died recently. And she thanked me for talking about him and doing the video on him and stuff like that. I guess they were still very close friends. And I said I wanted to get you on. I said I want to get you on the show to talk about Jeff. And she's like, it's too soon and
too much.
It was. I didn't realize they were that. I didn't know what their relationship really was. I guess they really did have a really good relationship. I don't know what caused them to break up. Did you have any idea?
She can tell you a gazillion Joita stories.
I'm sure.
But she used to tell them in 87, 88. When I was at that bodybuilding camp, she used to tell them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Funny ones?
Oh, yeah. Crazy ones. She was a little upset. She's an artist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, tremendous artwork, man. Like, amazing. And she used to have a pet pig. And
I remember that.
She's a little on the,
well, I can relate to that. I'm into weird animals.
Pigs, snakes.
I've interviewed her before. When we used to have the radio show, I interviewed her. I actually interviewed Rachel. Was it Rachel? No, I think I had. Was it Rachel McLeish, Linda Murray, and Corey? I think all in the same day. Oh no, I think I got Carla. It was Carla Dunlap. I think Corey and Linda all in the same radio show. Can you imagine that? That's when radio shows were. Corey, Linda, and Carla Dunlap. I think I had.
Crazy.
3 Miss Olympias. Yeah, it was great.
Where's Carla Dunlap now?
I don't know. She's probably still in Jersey, for all I know. She was a great interview, by the way. She was really good.
Yeah, she was
I didn't really know that well, and I really hit it off well with her. She was awesome. What year did she win the Olympia?
I think 82.
I thought Rachel won 82. Did she? Wasn't 82 the first Olympia? 81,
I think 80 was the first Olympia, I believe.
Okay. Maybe you're right.
Rachel won it the first year. Kiki Loma the second. Rachel came back, I think, on a little Anabar the third year.
Were you helping women back then? Or no?
No, no.
Before your time, right? Yeah.
No.
Those are the early years. I loved it. I thought the bodybuilding was so pure back then.
Oh,
maybe it was just because I was young. I didn't know. I was naive. I just admired all those physiques so much and those people.
Well, because people talked about the training back then more than anything.
There was no internet.
Yeah. No, there wasn't.
There was what was the secret workout? Really? That was that. No one was like, "What's the secret drug cocktail?" It was, "What was the secret workout?" Really?
Yeah. Well, we the magazines used to write all the workouts, right? They used to.
Well, but everyone knew those workouts were bullshit. But people wanted to know what people were really doing. And I think that's why when people started publishing Dorian's workouts, which were real workouts, I think that's when people went nuts because they were like, "Holy shit, this is really what this guy does," Mike Menser writing all those articles. Remember, you'd have to have a PhD in philosophy to understand what fucking he was writing in his articles.
Yeah, I could never understand his articles.
Ayn Rand he was talking about, remember?
Yeah, I never get it.
Arthur Jones, who invented the heavy-duty training system with the Nautilus equipment, he also invented Nautilus. He was before his time. This guy was a pioneer. I watched the documentary. You'd love it. I think Netflix has it.
He's another animal lover like you.
Yeah, well, he's a snake breeder. Did you know that?
Yeah, he had a zoo. Yeah, no, yeah.
Crazy amount of snakes.
I did know that. I did know that. He had a giant zoo in DeLand, Florida.
Yeah, it's funny. The funny thing, and I told this story before. I'm not losing my mind for the people who really listen to everything we say. I was listening to a snake podcast in the car driving, like back from Boca or something like that. It was like a 3-hour drive, and I'm listening to this guy talk about the history of snakes and stuff like that. And he's who one of the real pioneers in snake breeding was. And the host is like, "No, who?" He's like, "Arthur Jones." And I'm like, "Can't be that." And I'm thinking, Arthur Jones, Nautilus? I'm like, it can't be the same one.
People don't even know. Yeah.
And I'm like, so he's talking about Arthur Jones. I'm like, That's weird that it's the same name. But I said Arthur Jones could be a common name. And then he's like, yeah, this guy was also into the world of bodybuilding. He built his own equipment line. I'm like, holy shit, this is the same fucking Arthur Jones. This guy's a genius.
He was a genius. Where did he make his money originally? I don't know.
I forgot. What was?
I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
He was probably like Jay. He was another Jay. Did everything. Arthur Jones was just not a bodybuilding guy. He was just like a genius guy. Let me take a quick look. They have Wikipedia has him listed as an inventor. I don't know. Where did I see that documentary on him? You got to watch this documentary. It's unbelievable documentary. He was ahead of his time in everything he did.
Well, he was the first person to try to conceptualize the idea, at least in bodybuilding, that your individual recovery should be connected to how much input, how much training you give it. And that you don't need as much training as you think.
And he was right.
Yeah, no, he was right.
Even though people don't want to listen to him. He was completely right. There's not many people that are true geniuses. Like I said, I think this guy could have invented the rocket ship to Mars. I think he was one of those guys that whatever he put his mind to. He just happened to be in an era where he did what he did. Wait, I gotta say, I don't know where I saw the Arthur Jones documentary though. And maybe it was on YouTube. It was a great documentary though. I was like, every time they said something else about him, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Google him I Googled him. I think YouTube has the documentary on him. It's like really old. It's not like a new one. Someone should probably make a film about his life.
He bred elephants as well.
Did he really? I wanted to breed elephants too.
So you're as eccentric as him.
I just don't have his money. I got to tell you, I'm glad you brought this up because it sparked memory. There's a Masonic temple in Cape Coral, believe it or not. It's like this crazy looking building. We drive by it all the time.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
It's like this. It's all white. It's this weird shape. It says Masonic temple.
Go inside and check out the paintings. You'll be amazed.
Listen, on the outside, it says for sale. I said, Amanda, if I win the lottery, I'm buying this building and the land, and I'm putting the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame here. This building is so unbelievable looking. Joe Weider would lose his mind if he saw this building. He would do the same thing, and he had the money to do it. So if anyone out there has a ton of money and they want to invest, I want to put the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame here in Cape Coral. It's Masonic Temple to be the building that houses all the bodybuilding memorabilia of all the people who are in the Hall of Fame. Anyone who's anyone. We're gonna set up this thing. It's gonna be people are gonna make pilgrimages here to see this thing. And this Masonic temple it's perfect. You don't have to build anything. It's there already. You might have to. I don't know what the inside looks like, but you could build out the whole inside. The outer building is what you need. The shell is. I mean, it's so great. You could probably put arms on the outside, make it into a double bicep if you want to. But you put the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame. You put I'll get Bob Goldman to have another Arnold statue commissioned to put outside the fucking thing, so that when you drive by, you see this huge Arnold, twisting back shot. How could you not want to fucking pull in there and take a look at what's going on in there, right?
Yeah. Well,
that's who I should ask to do it. I should get Bob Goldman to buy the building. Bob, buy this building. Let's set up the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame here. I'll oversee the whole project.
We started the show tonight by saying we've been doing this for 10 years, and for 10 years, I can go way back with you, Dave. And when I was kidding but half serious, saying, Dave, you should start the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame. I said you should start collecting crap from people. Asking people, Dorian, do you have the,
your trunk
pullover machine? The pullover machine
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
You name the bodybuilder, I'll ask you, do they have it? The Coleman, do you have the KFC barbecue empty bottle
That's right.
that you used in those videos when you're doing no carbs, even though you're doing 500 carbs a meal?
No, it would be brilliant.
How much protein was Coleman eating a meal?
But you know what? You're right. It would
Chad would say, 12 ounces of chicken, and Coleman would would he weigh it on like a broken scale because he'd be like 40 ounces of chicken.
No, but think about how great that would be as a bodybuilding fan to go to one place and see all the people that you've looked up to. And maybe you might not even know the history, even to learn the history of bodybuilding, to see all the former Mr. Olympias.
That yellow powerlifting suit when he squatted like 1,900 plates. Remember?
Or Mike Katz's T-shirt, or the Crusher, he was using in pumping iron, and Lou Ferrigno's, like Hulk. I don't know. His Hulk purple pants or something like that. No, but it would be tremendous. The Barbarian Brothers, headbands or wigs or whatever they it would be phenomenal. I think it would be really a place to go to really kind of veg out and say, holy mackerel.
And then you'd have like the modern era where you'd have like Boston Lloyd's FedEx receipts to well-known bodybuilders that he still saved. And
right.
You know how when people take famous paintings and they lend them to museums,
right?
He could lend you the receipts,
right? But what I'd like to do is have a big, huge paintings of all the Mr. Olympias commissioned. You know what I mean, for the wall. Like how they have the presidents, like when every president has a painting commissioned of themselves, they do a painting, goes in the White House, and they hang it there.
Well, that's what Joe had those. I bet
Gold's Gym had those big pictures, but
Joe Weider had the life-size paintings of Frigno.
Oh, you're right, he did.
Arnold.
You're right.
I think maybe Franco too, and they weren't paintings. They were they were paintings, but they were
like lithographs. Right.
But they weren't. No, they were originals, but they weren't brushed. They were like when you put a lot of paint on one, like what? It's not a spatula, but it looks like a spatula.
Like oil paintings.
Yeah, but you don't use a brush.
They use this that knife.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
I call it a spatula.
Yeah.
You call it a knife. Artists are.
My father used to use those things all the time when he went through his painting
What other little
stage.
Memorabilia would you have there? You'd have the Valio belt, like the first one.
The Valio belt. The first tub of hot stuff with the methyl testosterone in it.
Milos
right?
would have his own room, like with his
insulin bottles would be on the wall. Yeah. NASA, I'd have a NASA, display there as well.
You could have the Lee Priest tattoo. The actual needle that he used to get the face tattoo. All the crazy things you could have, people would love.
Bleckman, I'd have to fucking sit down with Bleckman and get all his pictures he's got, from all these guys. He's got files on everyone,
Yeah, the files.
I'd have to wait till Bleckman was on his deathbed to get the stuff from him, probably, though. Steve, come on, for posterity. I know you hate me, but come on, let's preserve the sport in the Hall of Fame. I'll put Bleckman wing on here. We'll call it the Steve Bleckman, wing of the Hall of Fame building. Maybe Bleckman will donate all his money when he dies. At least he'll think she's going to get all the money when he dies. He's going to be like, I donated it to the Hall of Fame, the Steve Bleckman Hall of Fame in Cape Coral, Florida. Steve Bleckman Bodybuilding Hall of Fame. You know how they always they name it after all the people who give the most money. Like the Melinda Bill Gates Foundation, building.
Yeah.
The Steve Bleckman Hall. He's the only guy who would give his money up for fucking the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame. I think it's necessary. They have every other sport has a Hall of Fame.
No,
right?
that's what. Yeah, but we got more crazy little. I mean, you could have the toilet paper that the guy keeps in his shoe. Who's the guy
Greg
with the
Valentino? We could have
Greg Valentino.
We could have Greg's arms on the wall. It's like mummified or something like that.
Yeah, first synthol arms.
Yeah.
Different grades of poisonous synthol from all over the world. When you see in Brazil and the guy's got like giant arms, like 40 inches.
All right, here's the question. I don't mean to interrupt you. I know the answer already. Who would be the curator of this? Who would be like the full time, the guy who would actually? We'd have to like build him a house in the back to live there, and curate the museum. So when people come in, he can give them the history of the sport.
Oh,
tours.
well, there's a lot of
Come on, you know who?
It might take more than one guess, but I'll guess it. Would it be Lonnie Tieper?
No. Lonnie Tieper's
Okay,
too
the Silver Fox.
old. Who's the
Peter
Silver
McGuff?
No, Peter's too old too. Think of a guy like who can handle, who could do it for like the next 40 years or something like that.
40 years.
Yeah.
So you're talking have to be someone young who's like wouldn't be Jose, would it?
Jose could do it too, but he wouldn't. You need someone who's like completely.
Yeah, I'm trying to
immersed,
think someone off his rock.
dedicated. Think about it. Come on, think about it for just a minute. When I say the name, you're going to be like, "Holy
Ron Harris."
No, not Ron Harris.
Wait a minute. Then the guy who's doing the Olympic got the $1 million for the Olympiad.
No. John Hanson. Come on, man. John
John
Hanson
is
would
the
move
younger
in.
version of Peter McGuff and Lonnie Tieper combined.
If I said John,
Dan
John probably
Solomon,
listening
I
to the
heard
show.
already
I'm
raised
sure
the
John
number.
listens to the show.
By the time Dan Solomon hears this episode, he'll probably have raised like $90 million.
Yeah. I just asked Dan to get another $1 million from the
Dan, the good news is Dan raised $90 million, and the better news for him is he took 20 as a commission. Well deserved.
Mazel tov. He can have the 20 million if he can raise 90. So yeah, John Hanson we'd have to build him like a little like cottage in the back, and he'd be the guy like if someone shows up at like 3 a.m, like on a Sunday night, knocking on the door, he'd like come waddling out. He'd come out of the back room at 80 years old.
John is.
He'd be like, "Can I help you?"
Where the local schools would send.
Yeah. Well, we're
bus trips, school trips.
Yeah. We rode our bicycle from Georgia here. We wanted to see the Hall of Fame. We're bodybuilding. John would take him in at 3 a.m. and give him the tour.
Yeah.
But you're right. There would be school trips there. John would be giving people the history of bodybuilding. He could do it. He wouldn't even have to write notes to himself.
No, I just verbatim. He wouldn't need.
Matter of fact, he would be the guy I would employ just to help me procure all the different displays.
Yeah.
Right. Because
label them.
Right. He'd be like, what about Casey Vieita's, forearm glove that he used to wear or something like that, or Dorian's wrist strap. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. All right, yeah, let's get that.
What about the diet? Arthur Jones wrote out the diet for Casey Vieita when he did that. Like, remember the Colorado experiment?
Yeah, right. Weren't they into fat and protein? Was that there?
I don't know, but I just know that Casey Vieita gained like 50 pounds in 50 days training with Arthur Jones.
Arthur Jones was the pre-Milos. That was the pre-Milos era.
Yeah.
Arthur Jones was using insulin on him, probably. Milos stole his.
Milos
got his notebook,
He gained 50 pounds in 50 days in Colorado, and they called it the Colorado experiment.
Yeah, I remember that. You're right.
Like the what was where they test the nuclear bomb? What was that called? The New York
Manhattan Project. Yeah.
Manhattan Project.
What was my project called when I gained 30 pounds of muscle in 1 year?
What was what?
I'm kidding. I said what was. I should make up a name of my.
Oh, when you tried.
Yeah. No, I gained 30. 1 year I gained 30 pounds of muscle. So I should make up some super sensationalistic story about that.
Yeah.
And people will be paying big money to find out how I did it. Hard work, guys. That was the answer. Don't email me and ask me.
McDonald's
and hard work. Yeah. That was before. Well, I think that was before I was eating McDonald's. Actually, no, I think I was still eating it. I think I wasn't eating it as much, but I was eating it here and there. Anyway, I love these shows where you and I get to just fantasize about bullshit, basically. People seem to like it. They seem to like the.
The Hall of Fame. You got to ask people. Email Dave for the top 10 odd items to keep at the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame.
I'm telling you, if someone steps up, and you know what, every time I put something out there, I got to be honest with you. Whenever we talk about something on the radio, and I say, "Guy, if anyone's got an idea or anyone's wanted to contact me," I always get a lot of people contacting me. I guarantee I'll get someone who has money or can raise money. They'll be like, I'll get you. What do you need? $10 million? We'll raise it. Well, let's buy the building and we'll set it up. Now I open my big mouth. Now I have to carry through it. And that's another project I have to add onto my list of things to do. Now I really have to hire John John Hanson to do it, because
Well, John Hanson could help procure the things. Then the Silver Fox.
well, yeah, we'd have to get Peter McGuff, even though he doesn't
No,
like
the,
me.
McGuff may come out and find that you have some fraudulent things in the Hall of Fame.
Well, no, I'd have to ask him to authenticate things. I'd have to hire him to authentication. Yeah. He actually lives very close to me, actually. Here.
Yeah.
He's just mad because we had that run-in a couple years ago at the Arnold. I don't think he likes me anymore, but I wanted to go to his house and interview him. Because he has a lot of bodybuilding memorabilia supposedly. Maybe we can get some of that for the Hall of Fame.
Maybe he has his own Hall of Fame, and he's
Well, he might be able to add that to. He could, we can call it the Peter McGuff.
Donate it. Yeah, he could donate it.
Look, I'm not against even people who I'm not in agreement with. I don't mind naming wings after people if they're going to donate large amounts of memorabilia to the Hall of Fame. So, like I said, even though Blackman doesn't like me, I do like him. He doesn't like me, but even though we don't get along, if he was to donate a lot of pictures, that we can blow up.
I got a great idea for the cafeteria when people come in and they need to eat. You can do a replica of the firehouse.
There you go. Wow, Chris, that's a great idea. We could build it as a separate building right there. So that can generate revenue for the Hall of Fame. Because when people come, they it's a long day. They want to eat.
You use the menu from what was the last time you out there when you were 300 pounds?
Bob Ciccarello probably knows the menu. He ate there so many times for so many years. He could probably write the menu for me by freehand. He could write it out. And yeah, you're right. We have a little replica firehouse there, which will generate income, which will help pay John Hanson's salary. For running the Hall of Fame. I'll oversee that. I just want to be the overseer of the whole project. To make sure it's done with accuracy and everything like that. And
you could have a little. When you go to Disney or something, and they have it's a small world.
Yeah.
You could have Tijuana or something, a little replica of one street in Tijuana with the prices of
steroids. We definitely have to have a steroid wing. There was no doubt about it. I'll have to.
Well, Romano will donate his.
Yeah, I have to find people who have who saved I think I have a couple vials of Essicline, the original Essicline I could put in there. We need to find people who have all the old steroid stuff. We may have to recreate. That might be something that we might want to recreate, Chris, not the real stuff, just like a replica of it, just so that we don't get in trouble. I don't want to be having any anabolic steroids. I don't want people be breaking glass windows to get the stuff.
Then you could have a display of the posing trunks that were big, when Arnold competed and Franco Columbo.
Right, and now how they've come back for classic physique.
And then Coleman's had the G-string.
Right.
And then you could have the board shorts, and then next to the board shorts you could have the classic bodybuilding original from a couple of years ago.
We could recreate a Muscle Beach there, a little mini Muscle Beach to show that whole era. I think it's a great idea. I just need I need someone with a lot of money who believes in bodybuilding and would love to see this happen. I'm telling you, the Masonic Temple. I might have to build. The property's pretty big, so I could probably build something else on the property. In addition, the Masonic Temple could be the main wing of the Hall of Fame, and then, like you said, I'd like to build a firehouse there, like a miniature firehouse, so people can come eat there. And then it's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea. I could have you come in and negotiate the lease. The buy to buy
why
the
not?
temple, because you're my real estate guy.
I'll make sure the toilet's actually flush.
That's true, and make sure there's no bed bugs in there.
Yeah.
I got to use all the tools at my disposal. You're my real estate guy.
Do you know who else?
John Hanson's my historian.
You know who would have all types of memorabilia? Samir too.
Yeah, I would contact everyone, every Mr. Olympia that's still alive. I'd contact the people who are not alive. I'd contact their relatives. Like for Sergio, I'm sure Sergio has his father's T-shirt, right? The Sergio thing, he wears it all the time. That sweatshirt.
No, you need his father's Chicago police.
No, I need that T-shirt, that sweatshirt he wears, the Sergio sweatshirt. That would be great. Larry Scott's family probably has some memorabilia they can. He's the first Mr. Olympia. Samir probably has everything everything he probably has from his Olympia, win. He probably has the the entry, the thing he had to fill out to get his hotel room or something like that. His check-in at the wherever the hotel. What hotel was that held at? I mean, what city was that held at? His Olympia.
I think he won in England. I think.
Oh, he did win in England. Okay.
Yeah, it was at Wembley. I think it was at Wembley Stadium.
There you go.
Wembley Conference Hall, or
we'll get the program from that night. He probably has it. He'd probably give us a signed copy of it. Good. Yeah. Chris and I have another creative project to do now. We just need the benefactors to come in and fund the whole thing.
Yeah, that's just how our museums won. They said, we should have a Monet, we should have this or that or this or that,
We have a mutual friend who could probably really do a very good job.
Yeah, underwrite it.
Who can set it up to make it look like a real museum. I mean, this person's done this before, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they would want a project of such low caliber, but they are bodybuilding fans, so maybe they'll do it. You probably can convince them better than I could.
No, we could do it. And we could. The way we'd get the mainstream people in is we'd have to have like a section dedicated to Arnold with the movies and the crossover, and we'd have to dress it up with some Hollywood.
I'm telling you, but you're a genius because I really believe the firehouse on that property can fund, because you charge $5 or $10 to get in, but that's not going to pay your bills. But I think that the firehouse, if you had a restaurant there that was profitable, I think that would fund the whole project.
We'll get Victor to find out from Eva's how to. Then Victor.
Victor was originally involved in the original Muscle Maker Grill.
I know, but he's eaten at Eva's in New York
for like 25 years. Yeah, they've been giving him free food for 25 years.
Yeah, that's right. So he can mold the menu.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chris, you know what? I love the idea. We'll continue talking about it. Hopefully, someone will contact me and tell me they want to give us a lot of money to do this. And but for now, it is like 2 a.m, so we're out of time, guys. Until next week, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
the truth hurts.
Good night, everyone.